This is Awkward Occurrence, Awkward Entertainment. So we're going to be looking at a little Chad Daybell's affidavit of what was said in it. Let's get right into the second paragraph. The affidavit indicates that investigators targeted their search of Daybell's property based on cell phone data that placed Lori's now deceased brother Alex Cox on the property. So they're saying this is how they found the body. So this is how they pinpointed it. They say they pinged Alex's cell phone to the back of Daybell's yard the last morning the children were seen. And it's one more reason. There's one more reason they said they searched that part of the yard. Oh yeah, Chad Daybell sent his wife Tammy Daybell text messages about using a fire pit and about shooting a raccoon. So that right there gave them another reason to check by the fire pit. Even though they could have checked by the fire pit back in January or back when they were in Hawaii on their honeymoon. That would be Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow. Hawaiian honeymoon. Where was all this back in January, yo? I could have found those bodies then. They had a search warrant back then. Anyway. Now, as that relates to... Let's go get it. Okay, now this is going to be Mr. Daybell's lawyer asking for the case to be dropped. Okay, John Pryor filed a motion to dismiss with District Judge Stephen Boyce Thursday. That was this past Thursday. He states the charges are not supported by the evidence and duplicative of allegations against the defendant. Pryor wrote in a motion to dismiss. Further, the prosecution has yet to present evidence to support when the alleged act had supposedly to have taken place and if the defendant acted in any manner to support the allegations. Vague and broad allegations. Constitutional rights being violated. Now this is what I'm saying. Like, nowhere in his preliminary hearing did anyone say they saw Chad Daybell burn bodies or shoot anybody or dig any graves. So in the beginning of the video, we see detectives use Alex Cox's cell phone ping located in Chad's backyard. Somehow they pinpointed it to that exact spot somehow with satellite imagery. And they also use a text message Chad sent to his wife Tammy about him shooting a raccoon and using a fire pit. So they figure they put one and one together of almost a year later. And voila, there's the bodies. Or they're waiting for him to dig the bodies, dig the graves and bury the bodies. That's why it took so long to say, hey, let's go check in the backyard. And let's use the excuses of here's Alex Cox ping in the backyard. Here's a text Chad sent to his wife. Let's use that as an excuse to get a warrant and dig in the backyard in a very specific spot. I'm like, all right. It took y'all almost a year to figure that out. All right. That's all I had to say on that. But, is it likely his charges will be dropped? I don't think so. I just don't think it was in his backyard. They went off a hunch, even though it was a very late hunch. Very questionable hunch. They went off a hunch and found the bodies in your backyard. And y'all haven't produced the kids. Never produced the kids when they gave you a chance. So it is alteration and concealment of evidence. And I just want to go back over it one more time. Have they proved he concealed alter evidence? I mean, they haven't shown any evidence that he's the one who buried the bodies or burnt the bodies. They just shown, hey, maybe Alice Cox was in the backyard and Alice Cox could have buried the bodies, even though I don't believe Alice has anything to do with it. But if you say you used Alice Cox's cell phone and it was in the backyard of his house, Chad Daybell's, well, how do you not know it wasn't Alice Cox digging the graves out there with Lori Vallow? You can spin it like that. Like, Chad Daybell was nowhere near that scene. And just because he sent his wife a text about shooting a raccoon and using a fire pit doesn't mean he murdered his stepchildren. I give him a chance to get that case dismissed. I'll give it a chance, but I don't think it will be, because he will be set free. Then he hasn't been charged with murder of the kids, so hey. Alright, I'm going to end the video here, people. This has been Awkward Occurrence or Awkward Entertainment, and I will see you in the next video.
What is it that has you so angry? Is it the attackers?
It's the attackers, but it's also the attacks. It's like, you know, at first it was a thing of like, listen, if I tell the truth, then that's it, because it's the truth. Mm-hmm. Then it became a thing of like, oh, how can you doubt that? Like, how do you not believe that? It's the truth. And then it became a thing of like, oh, it's not necessarily that you don't believe that this is the truth.